Well, good evening out there. Hope everyone. We are back on the... sorry, earbud was too far in. I was sounding strange in my head. Hi Chloe, how are you doing? I hope your hand is healing better, or healing at least. And RHK, how are you doing? Good to see you both. So we are back on the RC2104 Pro Pride build this evening. And I think we're going to take a look at the VGA board for it, which is it's just a basic text terminal implemented on a Raspberry Pi Pico, providing VGA output to monitor thingy.
RHK77 cheered with 100 bits. Glottis got drunk from Majenko's bot, D.
Well, that's certainly a sentence you could say, RHK. Thank you for the 100 bits, most appreciated. And hello, Majenko Tech and Raiders. I hope you had a good session with the old Grim Fandango earlier. Sorry I didn't get a chance to stick my head in and have a look. I was rushing around like a blue proverbial fly. So hello there to Sword Dead Insects, to Majenko, and to Cobb. Good to see you all. Anyway, as I was saying, and hello Matt as well. If Majenko vomits all over my desk, Majenko is A, in my house but I haven't let him in, which is worrying, and B, not invited back. So just so he knows. And hello Hot Rocks.
Chloe Raccoon just resubbed for 2 months.
Right, thank you Cobb, you've noticed that one already. Chloe, thank you for the sub, that is most appreciated. We shall let Matt return from the land of ads before I explain the down in front. Anyway, how was the game? Has Majenko made progress? I think he'd finished at the end of year 2 when I tuned out last night. Or when he finished last night anyway. Excellent. For some reason, I don't know why, I got it into my head that Grim Fandango was a driving game, and I don't know why. Because obviously it's not.
RHK77 has gifted a sub to Matt_Rings.
Thank you for the gifted sub there, RHK. Most appreciated. And it looks like that has been fixed. So, fixed several things in the overlays. That one was acting up last time. It wasn't correctly identifying gift subs for some reason, even though it was set to. The game was broken, but you fixed it. Majenko's found a bug. Excellent. That's what we like. Hello, Dopaz. How are you doing? Good to see you. And Vital Kneve as well. Hello.
Dope has
right.
cheered with 100 bits.
Thank you for the cheer there, Dopaz, much appreciated. And another gifted sub, thank you, RHK.
RHK77 has gifted a sub to Hot
Choo
Rocks
choo
Girl.
indeed. Majenko requires vomit to continue.
A Swarm of Dead Insects has gifted a sub to A Swarm of Dead Insects.
Now, are you sure about that, Streamlabs? That sounds like it might be a mistake to me, because the thing he says it was to Silgalad. So, obviously it's not quite fixed. But thank you for the third gifted... no, sorry. Thank you for your first gifted sub there and the two RHK ones earlier. So, hype train indeed. Yeah, so I have added a point redeem down there somewhere where that side. Down in front. It just yells down in front at me. It's so that next time I'm a complete idiot. Yes, thank you, Machenko. And have completely forgotten to change my camera angles, or left an overlay up or down as appropriate. You can yell at me and I'll try and fix it. So
chugga chugga, woo woo.
RHK did it say he raided? Strange. I shall have to go back and check the VOD. I know it said Majenko raided. I thought it said you subscribed. No, hang on. You where's the history list? No, it said you cheered, and then Majenko raided. Anyway, I'll go back and check the VODs, and then if all else fails, I shall dump Streamlabs and write my own overlays, as all the cool streamers do. Because I've already had to go to the trouble of writing the integration so that it yells down in front at me. So I might as well sort that out. There's one other change to the overlays which you might see at the end of the stream, but it depends whether it works or not. I'm not entirely sure. But yes, thank you, Carl. Do I have to up the cooldown on that? Right, yes, okay, we'll switch cameras. There we go. That way. So this is as far as we are with the RC2014 Pro Pride, and the next module we're going to build is the VGA board for it. And what that is a basic text terminal implemented on a Raspberry Pi Pico, and it spits VGA out, and it can talk to a USB keyboard, and it just gives you a basic terminal. I think it's 80 by 30 mono in the default build, and you can also put a colour firmware on there, but all that lets you do is change the colour to something other than white, I believe. But anyway, we'll get on with that next and see where we are. I am regretting this already. In fact, I'm regretting it so much I'm going to get the glass of water that I've forgotten. Back in 1 second. Right, that's better. The sink is a mess. I've obviously splashed it with washing the paintbrushes, which is not ideal. Oh wow, level 2 hype train. That's a new one. Thank you very much, folks. Majenko, I could try and mix it in, but I don't know offhand how. I don't want to mix my desktop audio in for obvious reasons, and it's just going into desktop audio at the moment.
RHK77 has gifted a sub to Dopaz.
Thank you for a third gift sub there, RHK. I am just trying to catch up on chat. It's very distracting with all the sort of raid alerts, because you're all outlined in yellow or green or something to say you were raiders.
RHK77 has gifted a sub to Vitalkanef.
Well, that's 4 now, RHK. So if you're not careful, you're going to have screwed yourself out
Cop
of the...
2015 cheered with 100 bits. Keep the trainer running.
thank you very much for the 100 bits, Cop.
RHK77 has gifted a sub to programmer.
And a fifth one there, RHK. So at this point now, it would have been cheaper to have just bought the 5 in one go. But thank you very much for your generosity.
With 666 bits.
Thank you very much, CP. That's most appreciated. I was worried that I was going to miss the this month's payout threshold by about 10 cents. But thank you very much, folks. It's a lot more than I expected when I started flaming it, Chloe.
Chloe Raccoon has gifted 5 subs to viewers.
Well, thank you very much for the 5 gift subs there, Chloe. Right, so yeah, I think you're right. You're probably all completely ad-free from now. That's well, RHK. I think it's only followers and yeah, okay, it's a fair point. I know about half of my followers have shown up in chat. The other half I recognise from elsewhere for the most part. But anyway, right. So yes, on with the build. Level 4 height train, blimey. Yeah, when I started this, I thought I might get 2 viewers, do it for about a fortnight, and then realise that nobody was interested in my bullshit. It is most edifying to be proved completely incorrect, so thank you very much.
Cop 2015 has gifted 5 subs to viewers.
And 5 more courtesy of Cop. Thank you very much, Cop. Those elsewhere people meetings. Well, some of them are just names I recognise from sort of Tech Tangents or sometimes Majenko streams, but they haven't actually yet said anything in chat that I've noticed. But anyway, so we are going to start. We're still on the die sub board, so let's find the board first, and we'll take it from there. I think. Pico VGA is in orange, so this is not going to be useful. That one is the wireless. That one must be orange. It looks salmon pink to me, but what do I know? We have established this already. Let's get this out of the way, actually. Something's gone wrong. Something has gone wrong here. There it is. Didn't want to drop the thing on the floor. There's usually a box down there for it to sit on during these streams. Hang on. Don't tell me that Majenko bot's got a gift. Gift sub? No, thankfully. I'm very glad the bot didn't turn up with the Raiders. That would have been unfortunate. Sorry, let me just catch up on chat 1 second. Incoming ad break. Great. I have so much clutter on my screen now. I've got about 3 lines of text I can read at a time. So, you're off, are you, Matt? Well, have a good afternoon, and I'll let you know how I get on. RHK, it definitely says orange on the label. I could have had the fun of banning the boss. I could indeed. That would have been amazing, but it might not have won me many friends.
Cop 2015 cheered with 100 bits. Chugga chugga chugga.
Thank you for the 100 bits, Cop. So, what do we need? We need, actually, we need the web browser, don't we? And before we bring up the web browser, I should probably navigate it to the right web page. Instead of that page, which is me. We don't need me. We need that one. Sorry, bear with. I'm drowning in Windows, which is not a surprise, as you all know. Safari, RC2014, yes, on put it about there. What's that? I don't know what that is. Alright. So what we want is the VGA module, which is there. So let's open that picture for reference. Orange jumpers and header pins are not available, so you will need to use yellow. Okay, black, brown tact switches as well. Okay, otherwise it's this page. What was that? There was a noise. There was a noise. Oh, it was that 1-bit chip from RHK, I imagine. Okay, it doesn't read out messages below. I think it's 50 bits. Sorry. Salmon and mash. Yes, that's what a delightful thought. Salmon and mash with the Raspberry Pi Pico wedged in the top. So we're going to need the sundries. We are going to need a lot of the passives because this is where the metal film resistors come in. We're going to need the Raspberry Pi Pico. Do we have any LEDs on this one? I don't think we do. I don't think we have any ICs either. And we need header pins. Okie doke. So let's see what we're doing. Yes, Majenko, most appreciated. Avoiding doing work is always a good thing, especially if that work is just going to annoy people. So,
A swarm of dead insects cheered with 100 bits. Staying alive.
I mean, that wasn't bad, swarm of dead insects. But thank you there for the 100 bits. Height train complete, level 5, 68%. Not bad. What does this thing do? Does a thing. Okay. Yes, I think it was just a moment too late, but the TTS was fun. Anyway, thank you all for that. That 20 minutes of hype there. I need something, and I've forgotten what it is. Because I got distracted by... there it is. It is the... This is not going to work. These snippy things. For to snippy all the passives. And in fact we are not going to snip the word... Well, what are we going to do? We are going to find the bill of materials. Why is... Sorry, I just realised something is making a... The laptop fans are spinning, which is not good. CPU 25% in OBS. That's definitely not good. Anyway, we want the bill of materials for this. PCB, yes. Raspberry Pi Pico, yes. Right angle VGA socket. That will be in here with the other sundries. Well, no. OBS isn't going to be counting browser tabs in its CPU usage figure. That's going to be internal. And there shouldn't be anything much else open. 147 microfarad 25 volt electrolytic, which is that. That's good. Well, it's the only electrolytic left, so it had better be that one. 40 pin right angle header, we'll look at that in a second. 2 3-pin headers in yellow, 1 2, and 2 jumpers to go with, 1 2. Four tact switches, and it said use brown and black. Is it that one? We'll find all the tact switches and we'll work out which one it is likely to be, or which 4 it is likely to be. Those are all colourful ones. That one is black and black. Hmm. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So one of those will be for the digital I/O board, which will have 8. 1 second. God, more ads. That's strange. I don't know what Twitch is up to today, but there's not going to be any of those. Right, this is going to be tricky. Let's switch to that one and bring it up so I can judge the focus. Oh, come on. I don't know, it says use the black and brown ones and they all look just sort of black to me, but I suppose if they're identical then it doesn't matter. That one looks taller, so we'll discard that. I don't know. How do those look, folks? Oh, okay, they're all brown. The taller one was black, and then... Okay, so that's 2 more brown ones there, is it? Okay, brilliant. So we remember the tall one is black. Like a row of small turds. Thank you, Majenko. We can always rely on you for the erudite observation there, can't we? Press that button. And we want the... It was 4 of them, yep. So we need the 40 pin right angle header, and then now let's check what it looked like on the... I think it was a double row header, yes. So we need to do the trick with the pliers. Well, that's fine. And what did we need here? Oh, that's interesting. What was that doing in there? $47.25. Oh well, it's the same part, so it doesn't matter. So we need 8K2 metal. Well, they're all metal. The precision ones are all metal for the DAC on the VGA output, so it'll want to be all of those. And 10K and 22K carbon, or at least it's not mentioned what they should be. 22K. Those are 10K. Any capacitors apart from the electrolytic? No. And the Schottky diode, that'll be that one, won't it? Probably. I'll check that in a second. So we don't need the 1K, we don't need the 2K2. We don't need the 100 nanofarad caps, we don't need the 3K2. Okie doke. we probably need this one. 5817. Hang on. That says 1N5818. I mean, I presume it's just a Schottky with a slightly different voltage, but oh, hang on, I'm an idiot. Schottky, not Zener. No, it's just current rating, isn't it? Oh no, reverse voltage. Never mind then. Uh, 1 amp. Hang on. So it's 1 amp with a peak reverse of 30 volts rather than 20 volts. So that's fair enough. For some reason I read Schottky and thought Zener, which was not intelligent. Alright, so we're good with those. We need to pull some pins out of that. And to pull some pins out of that, I need to find my balls. It's not that one. There we go. Yes, indeed. Ben, can't you just want to chat and immediately regrets it? But in amongst all the crudities, you are being occasionally helpful, so thank you for that. Right, we need to pull pins out of this and take a blob off the end first. Like so. You'll be pleased to know I found my found the cap for the knife. Then I couldn't find the knife. Then I could find the knife but not the cap, and eventually the two were reunited. So all is good again. So we want to put that through there. Actually, let's count this up first. We need to pull 3 from one end and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 from the other. I should remember that each time because that one's the same. But anyway, slightly bent. Fix that. So 3 from this end. And if anybody hasn't seen this escapade before, it's because this uses 2 rows of pins for a chunk in the middle. 1, and you can't mix and match single and dual row headers. 2. Without because they have different profiles, so you have to pull some pins off the dual row ones that you've got the dual row section in the middle, so that's 8. That's 12. should be 16. So let's double check that's right. Well, it fits, so it is presumably right. That is good. Those over there. They make excellent fidget toys, by the way. The legs you've pulled out of a header like that, the right angle thing. You can stack them up in all sorts of neat shapes. Oh, a donut. Oh no, you're talking about the donut you stole. Stroke 8. Where are we at? Neither the knife nor its cap were in the M&S bag. No, they were both lurking on the kitchen table somewhere, just underneath other bits and pieces of nonsense. So, what do we need to do now? We need to double check we have the right set of metal film resistors while I think about it. So we should have 8K2, 3K9, 2K, 6 1K, yep, 3 510s, 2 47s for the Star Trek fans, and what's that? That's the diode. Excellent. So it looks like we're in good position to half an hour in actually start soldering. So let's just have a look at this. The Pico is going to be a fun thing to solder. Does it go through the castellations or the pins? Okay, let me, oops, not do that, let me do that. I need a hotkey to bring up the full screen projector. So, it surface mounts on these pads here, but there are pinholes, or there are through holes, so you could in theory actually put headers on, but headers are not supplied, and I don't think I have spare headers. So the recommended suggestion is to take leads from the resistors or whatever, bend them over into a staple shape, and use them to pin opposing corners of the pie in place so that you can solder down the rest. So that's what we'll do, because I mean it's a pie Pico. I'm not going to want to take it back off again because it's going to be cheaper to just buy a new one than spend a half hour desoldering it. Right, so what we need now is to be able to read that screen or the die sub print there. Okay, it is visible on camera, it's just not visible to the naked eye, which probably says something about the camera's white balance. So let's look at the picture again, and is there a populated picture somewhere? There is. So it's the two carbon ones at this end, and then all metal film after that. So that's fine. We're probably going to need this for I hadn't realised the tertiary camera is showing my not the hang on, let's do that. No, that hasn't worked. I was trying to replace the face cam with the. I'll do that another time. So 22K, 10K. Turn the soldering iron on, that'll help. 22K first at the top. and then a 10k. Foon has some delightfully bad ideas about keyboards. One of the personally annoying things about leaving Twitter, I mean, obviously part of that it turned into an absolute cesspit run by one of the worst human beings on the planet, is that I had a bunch of mutuals on there who ended up scattered to the four winds and no longer mutuals with them, which is a shame, and Foon was one of them. I enjoyed it. It was always an unnerving moment when she liked one of my posts or something on Twitter and it ended up shown to all her followers. Notifications usually took a couple of hours to settle down after that, but alas, no longer. So, anyway. Ooh, let's not do that. Try that again with a tinned tip this time. Let's see about that. First couple of joints on that. Not absolutely horrible. Haven't scorched the thing, which is the primary concern. I'll take a slightly duff joint over ruining the looks of the board, because the looks of the board are the whole reason. Well, not the whole reason for the kit, but certainly the thing that sets it apart. Right, so that's some little bits of resistor leg for the Pi later. Just going to catch up on the old chat. I don't think we'll find Shelby's scan-up power supply cable on my kitchen table. No, that would be a remarkable feat of disorganisation on Shelby's part for it to somehow find itself on another continent. Yep. So that's those two, and we need to move on to the metal resistors, and I think I'm just going to bring the bring the lamp up here so it can be completely in the way, but at least then I'll be able to read the legend a bit more easily. Right, 4747. Okay, so it's both of those next. That's interesting. Oh, of course, it's a 5-band colour code, so that'll be yellow, blue, black, which is 470, gold, which is -1, and then whatever on earth that colour is for the tolerance band at the end. I've been looking for the gold ones to line it all up, and of course this one won't have gold tolerance, but anyway. Yeah, that's going to have to go back on the floor so I've got room to get the iron in. Oh well. I think at this rate this is probably going to be a late night, folks, but never mind. If you all disappear before I get it finished, I'll simply demo it next week, assuming it works, of course. I feel like I'm bending the legs over a little too sharply for my liking there, but never mind. Oh, the L-shaped screens are an absolute masterpiece from Dana, yes. Okay, so now it's just 3 lots of the ladder sequence 510, 1K, 2K, 3K, 9, 8K, 2. So what's the sensible way to do this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's probably to put the... Let's double check this. 5, 1, 2... Ah! So it's not quite, it's 5, 1, well, 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 9, 8, 2, then a 1 at the end, repeating 3 times. Okay. So we'll do that. I think we'll try and put all the ones the same value in at the same time, just for sanity's sake, so I'm not going back and forth between bandoliers every 2 minutes. Anyway. It's that way round, okay. It's the right colour sequence, I think. Just trying to make sure I've got the tolerance bands all at the same end so that they look nice. But I'm just struggling to remember my sequence. Black, brown, red, orange, yellow, grey. Yep, okay. There. The other thing I should add as a channel point redemption, come to think of it, is the ability to turn on or off my background music, because I don't use it very often, and that's because I've had so far, I think, 1 vote for having it and 1 vote for not having it. So, but I am aware that sometimes I'm just sat here silently doing something like this, which is hardly thrilling content, but maybe if I stick a few more songs in the rotation, then or tunes in the rotation, I could also have a skip function for you, like Majenko does on his. Although that would take a little bit of thought to make work. But what is the point of being a professional software developer if you cannot occasionally put some thought into making things work? Right, so now the 1Ks, and we've got wrist shot, excellent. 6 of these, so they'll go in immediately after and immediately before. Yes. Cobb redeems turn the damn music on for 10,000 points. Okay. Damn music turned on. It is quite quiet, of course, because the whole point is to be background music, not obtrusive, but One of the ones in the rotation is a bit funereal, which is a shame because I like it, but it's not exactly cheerful. Oh, that's not very good. Come on. Maybe for this one it would have been worth putting the effort into finding my random resistor bending, leg bending tool thing. I think it's in I think it's in a beaker in the downstairs lavatory, which I can't currently access because System 1 is in the way. I need to find somewhere for System 1 to live, to be honest. Oh, speaking of music, Swarm Dead Insects, I saw your... I think I said I saw your post about your efforts with the sample of the LA50. If you wanted to link to that in chat, I would. For anybody else, I would not mind at all. I thought it was most excellent. I just don't happen to have my Faddy client open at the moment, so I can't paste a link. In client, I usually use the web interface, but right, these resistors are going to be fairly jaunty in their lineup. So there you go, folks. There's a link in chat if you wanted to check out what someone who actually knows what they're doing can do with a sample of the LA50 struggling to move its carriage. I do not know what I'm doing when it comes to music, so all I can do is recognise the sick beat when I hear it. But speaking of which, there was an entry in the troubleshooting chart in the technical reference which describes that behaviour exactly, apart from the whole sick beat thing. So my iron's gone cold, that's odd. Sort of carriage homes, but then fails to move right during a motion test. Apparently means that the right hand limit switch might be defective, so we have something to look at on Friday to figure that out. And then I think on Sunday is the current plan. I might do an extra Calgary stream to look at the Quiet Writer or the Plotter or something. We'll see how it goes on Friday. Oh, I think my iron wasn't actually properly plugged in earlier. This is going a lot easier than it was a few minutes ago. He says making a pills of that joint. that looking for focus, by the way? Iffy. Okay, that was a lot better. Sanity, yes. There were a whole pile of gift subs earlier, courtesy of RHK and I think Swarm Dead Insects and Chloe, and well, 17 sub gifts here apparently. I've just noticed the summary I've got in front of me, and 1,327 bits. Blimey, folks, you were very generous there. Thank you very much. So yeah, Sanity, I don't know who exactly was responsible for yours, but someone was. And welcome back, Matt. Welcome back, Matt. Bloody hell. I should know better than to try and talk. It never ends well. I mean, I don't think we're going to win any prizes here for the cleanest soldering on one of these, but at least I'm not making a complete mess of the boards, which is the important thing. Oh, it was Cobb. Yeah, so I do apologise, Cobb. God, if the end screen works as it's supposed to, it's going to actually be a very good test of it this time. We'll see what happens. So that's all looking good. We just have the 3K9, the 8K2s to do in that order. So we're all good. 2K. Come on. Yeah, the problem when you're down at the low end of the resistor colour schemes is, or the colour code, black, brown, red, all identical. Orange, fine. Yellow, green, identical. Blue, violet, identical. Some of the old... no, not that one. That would have been a mistake. That one. Some of the older resistors tend to have better colours on them, I find. Slightly more distinguishable. But I suppose they've been cost reduced down to indistinguishable. Probably saves a penny per thousand or something. But anyway. The only reason it matters is I'm trying to make sure I know which band is the the tolerance band. But anyway, I've said that several times now, so I shall stop saying it. There we go. This is true, Chloe, but when it's a matter of which end of this is which, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. Very large market with lots of interesting food being sold. Excellent sort of market is that. Chinese domestic market pickled somethings. Ooh. Yeah, Matt, the blue body on a metal film resistor is yeah, admittedly a bit trickier. The ones I think I find easiest to read are the old carbon composition ones with the dark brown body. Or is it dark green? I don't know, one or the other. But because they tend to be massive, you've got nice thick stripes of colour on them. Gives you a bit more to work with. I did not know that, Chloe. That is fascinating. I won't ask you what the Latin actually is, because I imagine you would not thank me for it, but I shall look it up after the stream. Precanus something? And then the 3K9 is the closest to 4K. Oh, okay. I would not have guessed that one, as evidenced by the fact that I didn't guess that one. So now we've got a new colour showing up in these bands. I wonder what colour that is. 3, it must be 9. Oh, white, isn't it? 9. Yes, indeed. Right, so orange, white, black, red. Okay. Huh. I don't think I've ever used a resistor with a 9 in its code before. Yeah, I'm the same, Swarm, with usually sort of vaguely stupid reference to something or train of thought sort of thing. For instance, I have a machine in the office which is called Rosebud, which is because it runs SUSE Linux Enterprise Desktop SLED. And this machine is called Pint. And I discovered that. I mean, I'd set it at some point and then I completely forgot why, and I only discovered it when I was setting up to stream earlier in the year. And I thought, well, why on earth have I called this laptop Pint? and it took me a while to work it out. It's called pint because it's very nearly an armful, which is stupid. What else do I have in the office? There's one called Harbinger which works nicely, and then that's a Spark Station 20. And then I needed an Ultra 5 for some reason or other, so I bought an Ultra 5. Or I needed an Ultra Spark for some reason, so I bought an Ultra 5. And because it was going to go underneath Harbinger, I called it Calamity, just keeping the theme. And that was a mistake, because it's never bloody booted reliably since. It comes up maybe one time in 3. Very strange. Usually just dies somewhere in SMF. No idea what that's about. Of course, some of them are a bit more prosaic. The Raspberry Pis dotted around the house are numbered RPi, RPi2, RPi3, and RPi1. I think RPi1 is currently running the RPi2 is currently doing NOAA weather reception in the garage, but it keeps filling its SD card, so I keep missing passes, which is annoying. And I see NOAA 18 was decommissioned last week after its transmitters failed, or one of its transmitters failed, and I managed to miss its last pass because the SD card was full. I should really set it up to dump its recordings to an NFS share or something. But anyway, right, and then the 8K2s. I think one of the RPIs is going to get renamed at some point when it starts running the Asterisk server for the home PBX. Assuming I don't just dump it on the Proxmox box, of course, which might be more intelligent. But on the other hand, the Raspberry Pi is probably lower power than keeping the Proxmox machine running all the time for domestic duties. Anyway, let's see what we're doing. Please, 8K2, 8. What's 8 in the colour code? I forget. Well, that's something red black, so that's probably right. Well, I know it's right, it's just that way around. I was about to make a comment there about Spoon being a host name, but I think that's actually Matt's, isn't it? Oh yes, okay, that's how that conversation came up. But yes, I remember Spoon in some of your URLs, Matt. Right. There we go, that's the resistors done, finally. What was that, nearly 45 minutes on resistors? Hey. And then we're going to need the diode. I should look up the schematic and figure out what this is doing actually. The legs on this are a bit too thick to get around my usual trick of just YOLOing the bends. Tap those with the iron to smooth them off a bit, I think. There we go. Right, just catching up on chat. Okay, good to see you, Matt. I'll catch you next time or some other time. RHK, yes, I know, they're dreadful, aren't they? I could have done a lot better if I'd grabbed the... In fact, that is pretty bad. Oh well. Good to see you, Cobb. Thanks for everything, and I'll catch you next time. Quarter to 11, isn't it? Okay, so we'll do the pi. And the recommendation is to So just pop a U-shaped bit of leg through there, splay it out, and then do the same on the other corner. And that'll hold it in place so that you can nip along and do all the pads. So we'll just line it up very neatly off those corners and tack down the other two diagonal corners. See how that looks. That's not. Is that parallax or is it actually off? It's very slightly off where it should be, but I think we'll get away with it. No, it is actually parallax. Yeah, I think we're happy with that. Yeah, I suppose you could fit the let's see where we're going. You could fit actual headers in there, but I don't know whether it's a clearance thing or just the fact that the version with pre-soldered headers costs a lot more. Well, it costs a couple of quid more. And having or trying to solder the headers on yourself if you're not really used to it is a pain. Right, yes, you can see that, could you? Let's try. RHK, yes, you're probably right. The first pin is a bit of a mess. We'll take a close look in a second if any need touching up, I think. This is not going as cleanly as I would have liked, actually. see how messy that is. Third pin needs a touch up. And that one there next to the square pad looks a bit cold. And the one above the diode is no good. Okay. So we'll touch that one up. And that one. Bear with me, folks. My earbud went for a Burton. Right, that's cleaner. One by the diode is still a mess, and the one by the square pad. Okay. Oh, I have a pillock. Supposed to remove those. The there we go. Supposed to remove the staple from the corner pins before you solder them in case you accidentally solder it down, but yeah, I don't know. We might revisit those at some point and touch the whole lot up a bit to be a bit cleaner, but for the moment I don't want to do too much rework on it, because the less time spent soldering on these boards the better in terms of aesthetics. So I think this is the first time I've actually had to solder a castellated board down like this. I usually do use headers. And that said, I don't think I've actually used too many of them. Some little microchip RF modules are the only things that spring to mind. And I'm not sure I ever got those working to my satisfaction anyway, but that was more of a software issue than a soldering one. that out. And then these three on the end. I'm just going to see what my phone is pestering me about. Absolutely no idea. Ironically, those last three are actually the nicest of the lot, but still, let's have a look around this side. It's a bit ugly, but it'll do. So what do we have left? 2 headers, 4 tact switches, big odd capacitor, and the tact switches first. Exactly, good enough for government work. Ah. I'm not a fan of these tact switch footprints. For some reason they don't seem to go in as cleanly as some others I've seen. Right, that's one in. Sorry, that was completely off shot, wasn't it? Where are we? Back of shot there. There we go, getting the hang of it now with 2 left to do. That sounds familiar. Hang on, I can't read the. CPU developer. Same time stuff. The Command 16 uses you. I'm trying to remember what the one I've seen like that is called. There's a chap on the Fediverse been working on it. But I don't know whether it's the same one or not. If I could remember the chap's name. I think it's Canadian. Studio 6502 maybe. Anyway, get that soldered down. No, theirs is called the Sentinel 65, I think. Anyway, so this header now, I think. Don't worry, we're almost there, folks. After, well, I suppose it's only been up to what? Hour and a bit of actual construction time. Anyway. That tack down, make sure it's I mean, I think it has a strong contender there, so it's a fairly pleasant instruction set. I haven't done too much with it, mostly following along to 4AM's Apple II cracks. Good way to learn about the system, reading all the copy protection techniques people employed and how we can break them. Might have made a mess of that one. Can you see what I'm doing? You can't really see what I'm doing, but sorry about that. I have a feeling my joints are going to end up a bit more like the cautionary tale illustrations on the website for the Pro Pride. But, We do what we can. I don't think I'm particularly rushing it, it's just I'm not particularly well coordinated with my attempts. Damn, far too much solder on that one. There we go. I don't think I've ever done any Z8 stuff, RHK. How's it compared to the Z80? I've done very little Z80 stuff, to be fair, just some disassembly of stuff for the CPC. Okay, just the secondary header. Oh, okay, that's nice. Sorry, let me just catch up on chat. Hang on a second. Chloe redeemed down in front 17 minutes ago. So I didn't hear it. Was that when I dropped my earpiece? Or did I just hear it and ignore it? Could be either, I suppose. I'm just going to catch up on chat quickly there. Created started with AVR and a bit of Risk 5 with AVR assembly on Thursdays. Okay, I shall keep an eye out for that. Let me clicky button. There we go. Oh great, now I can't get rid of the pop-up. Stupid Twitch, go away. Right, I shall keep an eye out on Thursdays for your AVR assembly programming. Thank you, RHK. It's working at least. Because camera left. Okay, right. Thank you. Yeah, sorry I missed it then. How's that looking now? Oh, I've switched back to my view where I can actually see the mod tools. There we go. So I've just got this row of pins here to do, and then the headers and the capacitor, and we are ready to test it out. And hopefully it doesn't fall down and go bang. Why is there crud on my eye? Be gone, crud. There we go. picking up. Don't know what it's picking up, but anyway. So from top down, the soldering looks a lot worse than it does from the side, actually. So I think it might just be flux dribble from the flux solder. So that's okay. RHK, the Naboo. I mean, I think the idea was it was a completely extinct system, and the fun was trying to bring it back to life. But it looks like a fairly ordinary sort of system apart from that. And of course, it was extinct because it wasn't intended to have any local storage. It was all supposed to be over the cable network or whatever it was. So I can see why people thought it might be fun. But I don't think there's anything particularly special about it apart from that. Let's put that on there. There we go. And finally, an electrolytic capacitor. I'm presuming that's the obvious way around. It would make sense for the solid side of the footprint to be the stripe on the cap, so let's do it that way around, and if it's not right, then such is life. We'll just have an exploded cap to deal with. Well, slightly unhappy cap. It would have to be tantalum for it to actually explode. I've only done that once. There we go. Oh, and the VGA socket would be useful, wouldn't it? Luckily that has board retention clips, otherwise I would have just made life difficult for myself. And there we go. One VGA connector, one VGA board. So we need to figure out what to do with these header pins. I think both up is... Ah, there we go. 1, 2. So we want to put these both on the one side. Which will select the... Oh dear, I think that might be in at an angle. Okay. So that will select the first serial line out of the dual serial board as the no, those tact switches aren't quite flush on the board. That's annoying. Oh well, if that's my worst mistake on this one, then I've got off lightly, I think. So, let me just pull out of that one and turn off the soldering iron. And bring out the RC2014 again. We'll put it in. Let's take that off first because we don't want to drive the serial line from two places at once. And we'll fit the board there for a laugh. And kill the music. So let's see what we get if we plug the VGA cable in. We'll see if we get any output first. Let's try plugging the VGA cable in the right way around. And if we get output from it, then we can move on to plugging in the keyboard and seeing if we get input. But I think... No. Before we do that, we probably better put the firmware on it, haven't we? So, how do we need to do that? We need to do that with the thing. So, a USB cable. And find somewhere to plug that in. I don't think it is actually, because it was in. It was fresh off the tape. I don't know whether it had been programmed or not. So let's just put the latest firmware on it anyway for a laugh. So to do that, we want to bring up the old Safari again. Here. And see what it has to say for itself. Safari, VGA terminal, programming firmware, connect to micro USB lead, yes, then put a boot cell on the Pico, hold down, press and release the run button on the VGA board, which is presumably that one, yes. Pico will then show up as a drive on your computer, drag and drop the UF2 firmware onto this drive. So the source compiled binaries on GitHub. So let's do that. So if it said hold boot cell, I think the flashing, you can't see it. I think that flashing light is just a default firmware for these. So you hold that down and press that. And we should get, if I look in the right desktop, new Finder window, RP2, yes, good. So we want to Picoterm releases. Let's see what's in here. May 2023. Okay, so no obvious source code. Still all we wanted. Test suite, 40 color mono build. Um, 40 color column build. Anything in there? 160. Oh, right. So they're in a folder labeled 160 beta. Okay. Picoterm.uf2. Let's try that. Let's copy. Disk not injected properly. Yes, that's. Sorry. We are back to a flashing light, but it rebooted with a new firmware, so let's plug it in and see what happens. Majenko, not much. We finally got it. That's it's built. It's out of focus. Hooray! And the resistors are all in a wobbly line, and the tact switches aren't quite flat. And anyway, we'll see how well it goes. So pop that one in there for the time being. There is another slot back here actually that I could use for that. And yes, indeed, quality building. Bit disappointed, but I should have dug out the resistor bending tool. That would have helped, but anyway, I didn't. So what we want to do is bring on the VGA and make sure that the open interface is getting fed the right input. 1 second. Input 4. My earbud does not like me this evening. It fell out again and landed somewhere under the kitchen table, but I have found it. So let's see what happens if we turn the power on. We have a light there, and the power light is flickering somewhat, so that's not happy, is it? So we've got nothing there, so that shouldn't be driving it. Let's press reset. Okay, we have a fault here because it's knocked the the SLR. Huh. That's not good. Okay. Does it need more power than it can get off this USB connection, do we think? Where was that other USB lead? There. I mean, the fact that we get a flickering light, even if it is flickering, means it's not a complete dead short. But we must have an issue somewhere. Aha. No, that was a short. Okay, we definitely have a construction fault here. Right, camera's back online. Not seeing any obvious Let me put this somewhere we can both see it at the same time. Don't see any shorts on the backplane connector. None on the resistors, the switches. So it just leaves the Pi itself. Which is, as I said, not the nicest job I could have done there. I don't see any shorts. Let's pop those headers off, disconnect it from the let's try it without the actual serial lines connected to anything and see what happens that way. And we'll put it over just going to move some of these boards around to give myself a bit more room to look at it. Oh, hang on. the diode is, well, it's according to the silk screen. I shall double check there aren't any errata for it, but I'm pretty sure that's right around. But this time we get a much brighter power light. Sorry, that's. Aha! Oh, we have some output. So was it just the header pins that were upsetting it? That's slightly trimmed off, isn't it, at both sides? Transform, edit transform. 100 pixels each side to 0. And then position 400. No, that hasn't helped. Why has that not helped? Because the issue is it's slightly too big. Transform, edit transform. There we go. I don't know how legible that is on screen on stream, but so what does that have to say for itself? Help. I'd need a keyboard for that. Tiny USB keymap UK. Great. ASCII. Fine. Buzzer USB power on GPIO. Well, we don't have that set up. Picoton 115-200 board at 8N1. So that should be fine. And the light is still flashing, so maybe it would actually, or maybe it was actually pre-programmed and I've just wasted a few minutes programming the latest firmware, but oh well. So, yeah, you should just put the two the two jumpers to connect port 1, RX and TX to the thing. And if we apply power this time, okay, we've booted into the monitor. I have no idea what was up with it the first time we tried powering it up then, because I didn't touch anything. What we need now is a keyboard. It's an absolutely horrible keyboard, but it'll do. For God's sake. I obviously have extremely sweaty ears this evening. Thought I'd share that with you all. And we connect that to there. Control Shift H for help. Hey, keyboard works. Command line interface. Configuration menu. Escape to close. Ooh, terminal colours. Purple. Yes, we like purple, but purple looks like it's completely illegible, so light amber. That all looks good though, so escape to close. Well, excellent. We have a CPM computer. Green or nothing, is it? Okay, Control Shift M. Green or nothing. 3, 4, 5. I think that looks like a pleasant green. So, sip of coffee. Sip of absolutely cold coffee, considering I made it 2 hours ago and 10 minutes. So let me just see if I can remember this. I'd completely forgotten how to use stat last week, and there are options you can use. I think stat var. No, not stat. So it gives you the free space on all active disks, but you can. There we go. Stat val. Use this to assign the 2 serial ports to the built-in devices on CPM, which are the console, the tape reader, the tape punch, and the listing device. You can point those to either of the 2 serial ports on the RC2014, which is good because it means you can actually do CPM-y nonsense with multiple ports and such like. Sorry, I bashed my wrist while I was under the table earlier. And there's also stat USR, which tells us which user numbers have active files. So CPM doesn't have any concept of directories or subdirectories. There is the directory on each disk, but it does have user numbers 0 to 15. And they just divide up. So we're in user 0 at the moment. Those are the files for user 0. And if we say user 1, no files, how can we pip? No, okay, user 0. I don't remember if there's an easy way to go A user 1 C ed. Do I remember how ed works? No, okay, you can't do that. C0 ed. No. So user numbers are the closest it has to directories, and stat will actually tell you which ones have files on the current disk. So when last week I was doing user 1 dir, user 2 dir, I could have just done stat user. But anyway, stat is the tool for fiddling around with device assignments and how much free space there is on the disk and all the rest of it. I haven't yet got around to downloading any software onto the CPM installation on this. I must do so, find some stuff to run. There are all sorts of compilers and forths and word processors and games and Z machine interpreters and so on and so forth. So I'll have to play with those at some point. But for the time being, it has been 2 hours and nearly 2.25 hours. And the VGA terminal is working, which is a relief considering it failed to work when we've powered it up for the first time. So I think it's taking shape. We have 2 more boards to do, which are the digital I/O board, which just has 8 LEDs and 8 switches on it. I think that goes at this end, so you can poke it. And we have the Wi-Fi board, which again connects one of the serial lines out to an ESP something or other, so you can either access it over Wi-Fi via Telnet or whatever, or connect out to stuff. Command type programs are TSR. There were RSXs, Resident System Extensions. I don't remember how they worked exactly. I know GSX ran as an RSX. GSX isn't going to be much use on this because obviously there's no graphics hardware. But we've seen GSX in action on the Rainbow. Anyway, I think we are going to call that an evening well spent, considering it's all working, and it was maybe not quite as nicely assembled as I would have liked, but it works, and that's the main thing. Gives us something to play with, gives us screen capture from it without going through the VT240, which we can't go through without a Max 232 or some other sort of level shifter, because it speaks 5-volt TTL serial by default. So rather than capturing cool term, which is what I was doing, this is actually a proper VT. Is it 52 or VT100? It speaks some of the VT something or other command set, so escape sequences. So it's a much nicer terminal than cool term would be, and it avoids the need for me to build a Max 232 board to get the VT240 running. So that's good. So yeah, I think we'll call it there for this evening. Let's get the keyboard out of the way. Next week we shall look at probably the Wi-Fi board, I think. I'll have a think about it. Either the Wi-Fi board or the digital board, one or the other. I'll try and make up my mind on that. So join me at 9:30 next Tuesday for more RC2014. On Friday we will be returning to the LA50 printer repair. As I mentioned earlier, I found a note in the troubleshooting section of the manual technical reference guide that suggests the right carriage limit switch might be at fault. So we'll check that out. We'll also take the back off again and make sure that the paper out sensor is sticking out, protruding far enough to sense the paper. I think I actually managed to bend the lever slightly when I was assessing whether it was free to move. Spoiler alert, it wasn't free to move. The pivot point was stiffer than the metal. Not ideal. So we'll repair that. We'll see if we can get the carriage moving. So that's Friday. There will be an extra stream. I think it's going to be on Sunday evening. Makes more sense for me on a Sunday evening than a Saturday evening. And we'll look at either the Quiet Writer or the Plotter then. Haven't decided yet. We'll see how we get on with the LA50. Because obviously there is no Shelby this weekend. He is on holiday, much deserved. Get a rest from all the DG stuff. So yeah, thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for your massive generosity at the beginning of the stream with that hype train. It is most appreciated. I still can't quite believe anybody bothers tuning in for my nonsense, and the fact that you're willing to actually spend money on it is a very pleasant surprise. So thank you all, and I shall catch you next time. And hopefully the outro will work as it's supposed to work. If not, I'll have to yell at Streamlabs and write my own. So catch you next time, folks.